to watch, but not work. Amen. They're there to sit, but not serve. They're there to listen, but not labor. Take, but not tithe. Show up, but not stand up. They're just there as a reminder. I did go to church. I'm finishing now. Thank y'all for being so patient with me. I know I've been a little long this morning, but I wanted to make sure that we understood what it is to be a Christ-centered church. See, when you make it about you, any little thing come up, you're going to be disgusted about it. But if it's all about Christ, whatever comes up, you ought to just learn how to turn it over to God. The church ought to be a hospital. Not some mausoleum. It ought to be a place where folk can get help. Not all the time show up to get hurt. Too many folk already come in walking wounded. And it's a sad indictment against us when they come in walking wounded. Leave out with more bullet holes in them than they came in with. Are y'all going to talk to me here? It's so sad that folks done battle all week, got bruises to show for it, and then come into church and look like somebody already putting a foot on their neck. Leave out with more bruises than they did when they came in. Are y'all going to talk to me in here? The church ought to be a place where folk can find comfort instead of chaos. Some of us can get so comfortable in here. Yeah. You know what happened next. There was a sweetness in this church. There was a selflessness in this church. Yeah. There was a singleness in this church. There was a sweetness in this church. It says that as the original body of believers met together on a daily basis, and that was the sweet smelling flavor that existed in this church. The word says there was gladness. And that word translated gladness means exuberant joy. Folk had joy in that church. And let me just share with you here, if there's joy within the hearts of the people that are in the church, folk don't mind coming and being a part of that. I wish I had a lot more time, but when you leave out of here running other folk down that you done sit and worship with, folk are turned off by all of that ugly business. But if you speak in joy about your worship experience, instead of trying to tell folk who were there and what they had on, just tell them the Lord was there and he had me in his hands. Well, who showed up? The Lord showed up. And he kept on holding me in his hands. Well, who wasn't there? I don't know who wasn't there. I know the Lord was there. And the Lord had his hand on me. But did those such and so come late? Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't looking to see who was late. But I know the Lord stepped in on time on my situation. Are y'all going to talk to me here now? Yeah. Who led the song? I don't know who led the song, but I know one thing. The Lord, put a song in my heart. I wish I had a witness in here. Who were you sitting by? I don't know who it was. I was sitting by because my attention was not on who was on my right nor my left. My attention was who was standing with me. It was the Lord on my side. Oh, y'all ain't going to talk to me here now. Let me ask you, who led the prayer? I don't know who led the prayer, but prayer was made on my behalf. And the Lord heard my prayer. Is there a witness in here? How many folk were there? I don't know how many folk were there. I didn't take a number, but I found out that I don't care how many folk was there. The Lord is on my side. He's more than anybody else that was there. Good evening, St. James. Are y'all going to talk to me there? Yeah, when you come to worship God and He's the center of the church, does not matter what goes on around you. You ought to be focused on Him because not one person in this church could do for you what God has already done. Is there a witness in here? How'd you talk about, Reverend? I got some good friends. I got some friends who will be with me until the end. Well, let me tell you about another friend. He's a friend that'll stick closer to you than a brother. I'm through here, St. James. Yeah. I got some good family members. Well, let me tell you about my family member. He's the one that did something for me that mama couldn't do. Mama brought me in the world. Mama kept me safe. But Jesus, this man, saved my soul. Is there a witness in here? And look, when I die, I'm going to go ahead on and be with Him. Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. How much money did they raise? I don't know how much money they raised, but one thing I know about Jesus, He was raised from the dead. Let me get through here. Is there anybody in here? Do you know about that man? Is there anybody in here? Do you know He's the one that ought to be the center of your attention? Do you know that He's the one that we should be talking about? He's the one that we should be singing about. Anybody in here? Anybody in here? Have you ever tried, my Lord? Have you a witness in here? Did He do something for you nobody else could do? If you're a witness in here, you ought to stand and say yes. Say yeah. Yeah. That's enough. Can't nobody do me like Jesus. Can't nobody do me like the Lord. I don't know about you, but He's been so good to me, and I've got to praise His name. I just need to tell you this. The more the folk praised Him, the more He added to the church. And you ought not to be ashamed to praise His name. He's worthy. Ain't He worthy to you? He's worthy.